A tavern within Huyang City, on the upper floor of a small building, Hong sat alone, sipping fine wine and enjoying delicious food. It is only after coming to the land of origin that one realizes there are heavens beyond our heaven and understands how insignificant one is, Hong mused with a smile as he watched the numerous cultivators outside the window, each controlling various kinds of flying treasures. In his homeland, the Primordial Cosmos Region, not counting the Primordial Ancestor and Giant Axe, Hong was the 23rd true god among the human clan, and he even attained true godhood a bit faster than Luofong. Of course, Luofong had intentionally remained at the Universe Master stage for a long time to pursue a higher level of godly body, and in the end he achieved the perfect divine body. But Hong's talent was still incredibly dazzling within the human clan. Many predecessors who seemed to have become true gods earlier than Hong had actually been cultivating for far longer than him. Aside from Luofong and the Primordial Ancestor, there are already 11 from the human clan who have come to the land of origin through the cycle of reincarnation, and I am the 11th, said Hong, who had not long arrived at the land of origin and found everything fresh and novel. The bustling Huyang City, the various races of life, the different schools of thought, all were places worth exploring for him. True gods of void space, eternal true gods, primal chaos overlords, godly kings. Hong thought. Moreover, godly kings are further divided into 3 realms, and the emperors and monarchs of the 2 ancient countries are comparable to the ultimate realm of God King. Above the ultimate realm of God King are the country ancestors, the East Extreme Domain Ancestor, Emperor Qin, and the Galaxy Ruler. Younger brother, have you really reached this step? Hong felt his blood boiling with excitement. The many forces of the land of origin were not clear, but Hong, Pengong, Primal Chaos City Lord, the Primordial Ancestor, and other strong practitioners of the human clan were very well aware that the Galaxy Ruler was Luofong. In their homeland, Luofong was called the ancestral god of the galaxy. My younger brother came to the land of origin and is already above godly king? Hong was profoundly shocked. Back when he was still a universe master, he was invincible across the entire universe ocean. After becoming a true god, he resolved the sector beast calamity. Given such a harsh cultivation environment in the universe ocean, he managed to become an eternal true god. Upon coming to the land of origin, he soared to new heights, Hong sighed with emotion. He had witnessed Luofeng's growth from weakness, step by step. In the beginning he was the headmaster of the Extreme Martial Arts Hall. Luofeng was just a naive warrior. Later on, Luofeng grew step by step, even aiding him and aiding the Thunder Lord. Hong knew that being able to become a true god of void space in the harsh cultivation environment of the Primordial Cosmos Region and breaking through to the land of origin, the main reason was Luofeng's help. Without Luofeng, the Primordial Ancestor would probably never have been released. Among the entire human clan able to break through by themselves, perhaps only the Primal Chaos City Lord had a slight chance. Hong, in terms of innate comprehension, couldn't even rank in the top 5 among the human clan. Since coming to the land of origin, I've realized that great masters are like clouds, he thought. Talents from the native land of origin, countless geniuses nurtured by small universes, and the geniuses from 3,000 primordial cosmoses who have broken through the cycle. Hong reflected, compared to them I am much more mediocre. Any of the human clan who could break through to the land of origin, Luofong had prepared the highest standard of cultivation resources for them, so their cultivation went very smoothly. But Hong, Pengong Dark and the others, they all understood. In their homeland their talents were extraordinary. In the land of origin they struggled to become eternal true gods. Hong suddenly received a transmission, and upon seeing it, he couldn't help but show a look of joy. The Primordial Ancestor has become a godly king. Hong was quite excited. It was only after coming to the land of origin that one could see the disparity in natural talent. The Primordial Ancestor's talent was far above that of other human strong practitioners. Hong immediately stood up. Divine Monarch, is the food to your satisfaction? The attendant outside the small building was incredibly respectful. Hong's strength was nothing noteworthy within Huyang City, but as a core disciple of the Blade River Sect, the merchants of Huyang City dared not neglect him. MHM. Hong casually paid the bill, and with a wave of his hand, he steered the flying boat and swiftly headed straight for the Blade River Sect headquarters. Discover hidden tales at my virtual library empire. At the Blade River Sect headquarters, in the cave mansion where the Primordial Ancestor was located, strong practitioners from the human clan were continuously arriving at this moment. Young brother Hong, you've arrived. Longsheng. Hong was naturally very familiar with this group of strong practitioners from the human clan, greeting each one by one. They were undoubtedly the closest-knit group in the land of origin. Fire Dome. Hong smiled at a young man with red hair. Master Uncle, Fire Dome replied with a smile. Fire Dome, as Luofeng's second disciple in the Primordial Cosmos region and the one with the highest talent among his disciples, should be considered the senior brother to Moyu Qingyan and Xanu. However, given that Fire Dome was only a true god of void space, he was not yet influential enough, and therefore currently just a core disciple of the sect. As they were conversing and laughing, 3 figures walked in simultaneously, the Primordial Ancestor, Morosa and Luofong. Immediately, everyone in the room fell silent. The word outside is that under the command of the Galaxy Ruler, there is an old servant who is an ultimate realm beast. It should be Elder Luo Sa, they murmured. Luofong has been in seclusion recently and has not been seeing any visitors. But when we came to the land of origin, it was Luofong himself who guided us. Human powerhouses gathered and the conversation would also turn to Luofong and Morosa. The galaxy ruler and the ultimate realm beast attendant were indeed a bit too stimulating for human powerhouses. They actually had what could be called the thickest thighs to cling to. Having cultivated in the land of origin for 800 epochs, I have finally become a godly king, the primordial ancestor said with a smile as he looked around at his companions. Of course, my becoming a godly king was greatly thanks to Luo Feng's assistance. Resources alone won't make one a godly king. Talent and comprehension are even more important, Luofong commented with a smile at his side. Among the 11 strong human beings who came later, only the primal Chaos City Lord became an eternal true god. The rest were merely true gods of void space. This revealed the gap in potential. Becoming a godly king of the first realm, I felt it was quite difficult and I encountered many puzzles. The primordial ancestor shook his head. The path of cultivation is truly getting more and more challenging. The human powerhouses were all listening at the side. You all are nominally of my lineage, the primordial ancestor looked at the human powerhouses. Now that I have become a godly king, I can arrange some official positions for you. Assigning you some positions now, there won't be any objections within the Blade River Sect. Having become a godly king, the primordial ancestor's status within the Blade River Sect naturally rose greatly. Cultivation is not just about seclusion and comprehension. Taking on official duties, dealing with affairs and interacting more with other powerhouses is also beneficial to your cultivation, the primordial ancestor said. Yes. The group of human powerhouses all responded. Luo Feng's gaze fell on Fire Dome and he asked with a smile, Fire Dome, you've been in the land of origin for over a century now, how is your cultivation progressing? I am still lacking some accumulation to reach eternal true God, Fire Dome replied respectfully. Concentrate on your cultivation. Once you become an eternal true God, then I can publicly take you as a registered disciple. When you reach the primal chaos realm, I can publicly accept you as a direct disciple. Luofong looked forward to his disciple with anticipation. Being weak, if forcefully chosen as a registered disciple or a direct disciple, it would be harmful rather than beneficial to Fire Dome. Currently, as an ordinary core disciple, Fire Dome lacks nothing in terms of resources, and Luofong would even personally give guidance. Disciple understands, Fire Dome replied. Seeing this, the primordial ancestor also laughed and said, if any of you have any confusion regarding cultivation, feel free to speak up. Elder Luo saw Luofong and I can all give you guidance. The human powerhouses were overjoyed and began to ask questions one by one. The primordial ancestor, Luofong, and Morosa would answer in detail based on their own expertise. Since their questions were generally related to the stages of true God of void space and eternal true God, it was easy to see the differences between Luofong, the primordial ancestor, and Morosa. Luofeng's foundation was the most solid. Having a special grade inheritance, creating high realm secret techniques time and again at a low realm, his understanding of the fundamentals was profoundly deep. Finally, the gathering dispersed, leaving only Luofong and the primordial ancestor. Listening to your teachings, I have gained a lot, the primordial ancestor remarked emotionally. In terms of fundamentals, I can't compare to you. I have obtained several special grade inheritances by chance in the infinite space. It's under the guidance of these special grade inheritances that my foundation has been hammered solid, Luofong smiled. Primordial ancestor, I also have a gift prepared for you. Oh, the primordial ancestor was surprised. Luofong flipped his hand and took out a silver token. This is a token to the treasured land infinite space, Luofong smiled. Not long ago, I discovered this token within the bounds of my galaxy divine country. Infinite space tokens appear randomly on the land of origin. The wider the territory, the easier it is to come across such treasures. Infinite space token? The primordial ancestor showed a look of surprise, as his status and position allowed him to peruse many of the Blade River Sect's secret reports, so he naturally knew information about various treasured lands on the land of origin. The infinite space values spiritual will and the opening of new great Tao the most. Primordial ancestor, you are cultivating both the real and illusion paths, Luofong said. The real world has accurate origin Tao of the world as a reference. But the virtual world doesn't have this great Tao. On the entire land of origin, perhaps only the treasure trove of infinite space may have some inheritances that could help you. Luofong, you have helped me too much. The primordial ancestor was quite grateful. Initially, Luofong had to try everything for an opportunity, but now he could easily pave the way for the primordial ancestor. In terms of nurturing human powerhouses, my energy is limited. I often need the primordial ancestor to put more thought into it, Luofong said. For me and for the entire human clan, the stronger your power, the better. The primordial ancestor looked at the token, feeling a fervent warmth in his heart. He became a godly king by figuring out a branch of the origin Tao of the world. After all, with a detailed reference, breaking through is much easier. The path of illusion. The primordial ancestor encountered too many obstacles. Now, even which branches exist on the path of illusion confused him. This is a map of infinite space. Luofong waved his hand, and a stream of light flew towards the primordial ancestor. It also marks my current location. After you arrive in infinite space, you can quickly meet up with me. The native creatures of infinite space with various forces contending, I have already enveloped 12 native creatures with my spiritual will, which I can hand over to you, Luofong said. Good. The Primordial Ancestor held the token firmly, and immediately with one thought, he used the token to send a wisp of consciousness remotely towards infinite space. Luofong was quite expectant. In his view, since the Primordial Ancestor was researching the path of illusion, his spiritual will should also be outstanding. Opening up a new path would also gain the rewards of infinite space. With infinite space, the Primordial Ancestor should be able to go even further, Luofong thought. He has helped as much as he could, but ultimately, the achievements of a cultivator must rely on oneself. Land of origin, in the holy land of the Thunder Ancient Country, Mt. Latang. Hidden within Mt. Latang were numerous worlds, and within one vast world, a figure lay on an endless grassland. The grass on the plains withered and flourished repetitively, yet the figure resting there remained untouched by even a speck of dust. It is unknown how much time had passed before this figure finally opened its eyes. He was the ancestor of the Thunder Ancient Country. Personally dissecting the corpse of a high-level primordial life and even obtaining some materials from it, the Thunder Ancestor said excitedly. This gain is too significant. Senior Yuan and the others must have been truly desperate, to even allow us to purchase corpses of high-level primordial life. Low-level primordial life, Thunder Ancestor and primogenitor Yen Feng, were all qualified to hunt. However, high-level primordial life represented a qualitative leap. One stomp could crush billions of low-level primordial life, a single breath could turn low-level primordial life into ashes. Those cultivators who hadn't escaped the braided cage, upon encountering high-level primordial life, even if they had source world protection avatars, could still die a complete death through soul pollution. The fact that Senior Yuan and the others are offering up high-level primordial life corpses to us juniors, pondered the Thunder Ancestor. It seems the rumors are true. The Shell Valley World Group must have completely fallen. Our cultivator camp has been defeated. The Shell Valley World Group was also a cluster of worlds cultivated for cultivators, created at great cost by Senior Yuan and some others. Rumors had it that the faction of innate primordial life fixed their sights on the Shell Valley World Group. They relished devouring cultivators, even more so consuming worlds. They came killing in large scale and Senior Yuan and the others mobilized forces to stop them. But, in the end, the cultivator camp still lost. This rumor, which the Thunder Ancestor and primogenitor Yen Feng had initially been dubious about, seemed more credible recently as Senior Yuan and the others provided more resources, aiding these divine emperors. I hope these innate primordial life don't bring their slaughter to the land of origin, worried the Thunder Ancestor. There was no alternative. In the clash between the two great camps, the innate primordial life faction generally held the advantage. The innate primordial life faction was too vast. Even if some died they did not care. But for the cultivator camp, those who had leaped out of the braided cage were far too few. In a war of attrition, the cultivator camp could not afford the toll. The Thunder Ancestor stepped out of this slumbering world and appeared atop Mt. Latang. The moment he appeared, the Thunder Ancestor immediately received some information from the reports of the monarchs. During my seclusion, a galaxy ruler emerged in the land of origin. He sparred with Emperor Qin, managing to gain the upper hand with a 9-story high tower secret treasure. The Thunder Ancestor was somewhat surprised. Mt. Latang, an ancient hall. Ancestor. 9 monarchs gathered, all kneeling reverently. Sitting high up on his throne, the Thunder Ancestor looked down at the 9 monarchs. He and these monarchs had spanned several source world epochs. What feelings could there be between them? He and primogenitor Yen Feng nurtured their progeny to help them occupy more precious lands and scavenge more resources. By sparing a little of what was needed by the godly kings and some early-stage divine emperor secret treasures, they had ensured their progeny absolute dominance in the land of origin. They indebt them with huge debts and afterward send them to collect treasures. Ancestor, this galaxy ruler acts tyrannically, daring to kill even the imperial clans that have committed heinous crimes. Diyuan died by his hand. The monarchs all looked expectantly at the Thunder Ancestor. He possesses strength beyond God-King level. Within the land of origin, even though I can overpower him, I can't do anything to him, said the Thunder Ancestor, looking down from above. Strength determines order. If you commit heinous crimes and are killed by that galaxy ruler, there's nothing I can do. Be more cautious in your actions from now on. Do we just have to keep enduring? One golden-robed figure said anxiously. The Thunder Ancestor looked at him. The golden-robed figure trembled in his heart, realizing his mistake. The Ancestor's command just needed to be followed, not questioned. Previously he acted as the Black Vulture Ancestor, reaping millions of lives. Now he grew somewhat impatient. Ancestor, I. The golden-robed figure felt uneasy. The other 8 monarchs dared not make a sound. Feng Xing, go to the Wind Valley, in the Heavenly Pillar Realm. Either you obtain one secret treasure from within Wind Valley and redeem your crime, or die in there. The Thunder Ancestor ordered indifferently. Find your next read at my virtual library empire. The golden-robed figure's heart quivered, and none of the other 8 monarchs dared to beg for mercy. Yes, Ancestor, the golden-robed Feng Xing monarch could only accept the command. To the high and mighty Thunder Ancestor, these monarchs were merely subordinates, mere tools. Each epoch he would cultivate a batch. At the beginning of an epoch he might still cherish his subordinates a bit. But by the end of the epoch their value diminished greatly. As long as a being beyond God-King level emerges in the land of origin, you all need to show respect, lectured the Thunder Ancestor looking down at them. because within the land of origin, they are invincible. However, you don't need to worry, the Thunder Ancestor continued. Within the conditions present in the land of origin, MT Latang is absolutely safe. Nobody should even dream of invading MT Latang. The 8 monarchs understood. They grasped the ancestor's intentions. If the ancestor could do nothing against the galaxy ruler, similarly the galaxy ruler would not dare to act rashly on MT Latang. During my seclusion, were there any gains? The Thunder Ancestor asked again. Ancestor, we have obtained a portion of the spiritual rosy clouds, the Lei Shao monarch reported respectfully, presenting the treasure. The Thunder Ancestor nodded slightly upon hearing this. As an epoch neared its end, it became increasingly difficult to find treasures. The Thunder Ancestor gazed at the spiritual rosy clouds within the box in front of him, which resembled a liquid, and nodded in satisfaction, instructing, "You may all leave." Amidst the reverential retreat of the monarchs. Flame Wind. The Thunder Ancestor sat there, but used his thoughts to contact his old friend, the primogenitor Luofeng. He emerged from seclusion at the same time as the primogenitor Luofeng. Flame Wind, you know about the matter with the galaxy ruler, right? What are you planning to do? The Thunder Ancestor inquired. In the world beyond the source world, this galaxy ruler might be inexperienced. But on the land of origin, both of us are also helpless against him, primogenitor Luofeng said with a smile. What can I do? I can only endure. How about both of us meet this young fellow together to scare him a bit? The Thunder Ancestor suggested. After all, he will eventually have to leave the source world and will inevitably need our help. Both of them had cultivated for several epochs, accumulating profound resources, and had extensive networks of friends. The Thunder Ancestor had cultivated to the perfection stage of Divine Emperor, and was now pursuing the final step of Bloodline Ultimate Awakening, to break free from the braided cage. Primogenitor Luofeng was in the late stages of Divine Emperor, yet he was among the enlightened. In terms of strength, he was almost on par with the Thunder Ancestor. Among the cultivator camp, the lineage of the enlightened was generally held in higher regard. There's no need to intimidate him since we're from the same source world, said primogenitor Luofeng. Besides, if we really push the galaxy ruler too hard and he goes berserk, then the order on the land of origin will be completely disrupted. The Thunder Ancestor understood this rationale. The supreme rules of the land of origin put a cap on power, ensuring that everyone above God King level had nothing to fear. Both ancestors of the ancient countries had to weigh their actions carefully. The East Extreme Domain Ancestor might give them leeway, but the galaxy ruler may not. Fine, we won't meet him then, the Thunder Ancestor decided. As a junior, he won't have much to do with us once he leaves the source world. To maintain distance is good for both him and us. Primogenitor Luofeng had no intention of meeting Luofeng either. Distance could make things more pleasant. All sides could address things more calmly. How was the harvest this time from dissecting the corpse of a high-level primordial life? Do you have confidence in reaching the perfection of the Divine Emperor? The Thunder Ancestor asked. The harvest was significant. Primogenitor Luofeng was somewhat excited. A high-level primordial life is many times more complex than a low-level primordial life. With the gains from this time studied in detail, I believe I can advance further. You always advance further, yet you never quite reach the perfection of Divine Emperor, the Thunder Ancestor remarked. Pioneering a path in the darkness to reach the half-primordial level is not easy, said primogenitor Luofeng with a smile. It takes patience. The half-primordial level, that is the perfection of the Divine Emperor. Very few enlightened ones have reached the perfection of the Divine Emperor. If the enlightened step up from the half-primordial level to the primordial level, the path they enlightened would be, at the primordial level, a leap to the heavens, and they would become the most powerful primordial life. Elders like Yuan eagerly anticipated the birth of such peers. I am patient, but I worry that we don't have enough time. The camp of innate primordial life beings is too strong. The Thunder Ancestor voiced his concern. Any day now, the land of origin could face an invasion of innate primordial life beings. If the land of origin falls, so do we. If that's fate, so be it. Primogenitor Luofeng replied, worrying is of no use. Atop MT Latang. The Ancestor evidently has given his tacit consent to the galaxy ruler's actions. The Ancestor also said no one could kill their way into MT Latang. Given that, as long as we hide safely within MT Latang, we can totally send minions out to capture creatures. As the land of origin gradually approaches its end, we will need to leave to venture elsewhere, so we must seize more creatures to nurture our bloodlines. You have avatars, but I don't. Isn't it the same if your true body hides in MT Latang while you send out puppets to reap the benefits? The two monarchs quietly discussed. They had endured for 300 eras, originally hoping the Thunder Ancestor would be their champion. But now that the Thunder Ancestor's stance was clear, they had only one path left. Hiding the true body within MT Latang and sending minions and puppets to capture creatures. I want to see what this galaxy ruler can do about it. These two monarchs made up their minds and began to arrange their plans in secret. Once again they stealthily captured a vast number of creatures. Brother Galaxy, both ancient country ancestors have come out of seclusion, and you should be careful with your recent actions. Emperor Qing also informed Luo Feng. Primogenitor Luofeng is easygoing, but Thunder Ancestor, despite not being affected by the primordial bloodline, is naturally aggressive and domineering. I understand, Luofeng acknowledged. At this moment, Luofeng's true body was inside the Star Tower, meticulously studying the star tower secret patterns. During the 300 era since establishing the galaxy divine country, Luofong had been using the rare treasure Primordial Crystal to boost his soul strength and spiritual will to a level comparable to early stage of Divine Emperor, but his physical body was much weaker by comparison. Every era Luofong used a maximum of 33 primordial crystals. Any more and the effect was minimal. If he broke through to using 40 primordial crystals, the effect would decrease rapidly. The 10,000 primordial crystals he had exchanged for 3 secret treasures from Diyuan were now all used up. He had sold some ordinary treasures from the Dream Domain to the 2 ancient countries and obtained another 2,000 primordial crystals. Long-term use of primordial crystals really burns through them, Luofong lamented. Even the 33 primordial crystals per era pained him, and future increases in strength meant further increased consumption. But the efficacy of the primordial crystals was excellent. In terms of cost-effectiveness, they were the best quality auxiliary treasures. Luofong pondered the deep secret patterns of the Star Tower. Countless secret patterns spiraled inward. Even time began to stagnate when peering into the profound depths, and then colorful secret patterns started to emerge at even deeper levels. The end of the spiraling colorful secret patterns, there lay the blood-colored scales with a 12-color edge. Those blood-colored scales as if representing the supreme rules. They are supreme. They are indestructible, eternal. The core of the Star Tower's secret patterns is the thickness, strength, and eternal existence of life. Luofong had observed too many times, staring directly at the blood-colored scales, which continuously assaulted and tainted his spiritual will. Luofong temporarily withdrew from observation and began to operate his own power. Buzz. A phantom tower emerged, shaped like a triangular pyramid. The phantom tower gradually solidified, with secret patterns flowing on its surface. Whoosh. Suddenly the phantom tower collapsed. How difficult is it to create a 9 branches fusion secret technique? Luofong sighed softly. Just like how ordinary cultivators of the second realm of Godly King can create some pinnacle God King realm secret techniques without much difficulty, but to create an ultimate realm secret technique, the difficulty soars. Figures like Emperor Guisu, the Wuxing God King, some emperors of the Flame Wind Ancient Country, monarchs of the Thunder Ancient Country spent endless ages and only created a few ultimate realm secret techniques. The same principle applies. To date, Luofong has created 9 secret techniques for the 8 branches fusion technique of the Great Tao of Life and Death. The previous, Great Extinction Style, Heavenly Light Silver Shuttle, Black Light Escape Technique, Blood Dripping, Cage. These 5 techniques have also been perfected to the level of 8 branches fusion. 8 branches fusion is already easy for me, having created 9 secret techniques. Yet for the 9 branches fusion technique I couldn't create even one. Luofong shook his head gently. The 9 branches fusion technique of the Great Tao of Life and Death belongs to the ultimate realm techniques of the Great Tao of Life and Death. Its difficulty is much higher than that of the 8 branches techniques. Instead, with the Great Tao of Life and Destruction having clear Great Tao guidance, and after Luofong exchanged for the Destruction Scale and Lotus Heart Seed, he can now create ultimate realm secret techniques for them. Pure Great Tao of Life, Great Tao of Destruction, their ultimate realm secret techniques don't seem difficult. The fused Great Tao of Life and Death 9 branches fusion is extremely difficult. Luofong tried to condense the Phantom Star Tower with his own power. The Phantom Star Tower to protect oneself. Pursuing the limit of defense. Why is the Phantom Star Tower I condensed shaped like a triangular pyramid? Why is it not in the form of a 9-tiered tower? Luofong realized that he still had a long way to go. Even true 9 branches fusion was just scratching the surface of the Star Tower. Luofong could only calm his mind and devote himself to cultivation. What's wrong with the Phantom Star Tower? Why can't it stabilize? Luofong studied the mystery of the secret patterns carefully as days passed by. Suddenly one day, stay updated with my virtual library empire. Long-term contemplation led to a qualitative change. In Luofeng's mind, 4 branches of the Great Tao of Life and Death, Heavenly Light Branch, Blood Dripping Branch, Walker Branch, Eternal Branch, suddenly fused perfectly into one with no more confusion. The Great Tao of Life and Death thus stepped into the second realm of Godly King. From then on, Luofeng had reached the second realm of Godly King in all 3 Taos of life, destruction, and life and death. Of course, the first 2 were much easier and several ultimate realm secret techniques had been created. Haha, I managed to create 8 branches fusion techniques, and only then did the Great Tao of Life and Death step into the second realm of Godly King. Without accurate Great Tao guidance, the requirements for accumulation are indeed much higher. Luofeng was in high spirits. I wonder how many reward points the infinite space will give. Infinite space highly values spiritual will and the pioneering of great Taos. Infinite space. On an island in the heart of a lake, there were no spiritual beings, just an avatar of Luofeng was here, with fog covering most of the lake. Second realm of the Great Tao of Life and Death. Luofeng sat cross-legged on the shore of the island, looking at the lake in front of him, and with a single thought, he began to display the mysteries of the Great Tao. Whoosh! A streak of power left Luofeng and flew out, drawing a trajectory in midair, effortlessly slicing through all layers of space and even cutting a black crack in the most fundamental membrane of infinite space, and then this streak of power condensed into a drop of blood. This drop of blood turned into a star, slowly rolling between heaven and earth, causing the universe to tremble. Then this tiny star turned into a dark abyss, naturally beginning to devour everything around. The dark abyss was collapsing, turning into a point of light, and with the appearance of the light point, a terrifying domain spread in all directions. Just a streak of power fully displayed the many mysteries of the 4 branches of the great Tao of life and death: Heavenly Light Branch, Blood-Dripping Branch, Walker Branch, Eternal Branch. Only by fully understanding the mysteries can one manipulate the 4 major branches to fuse and transform at will. Finally. Buzz. An information imprint appeared in Luo Feng's palm. Trialist, Luo Feng from the land of origin. Based on the great Taos of life and destruction as the foundation, a new Tao has been opened. Evaluation of the new Tao, special. Reward points, 100,000 points. On this new Tao, you have finally taken the second step. More effort is needed to fully master this Tao. Before mastering a complete Tao, your spiritual will has successfully broken through the godly king limit. Evaluation of the spiritual will, special. Reward points, 100,000 points. Your spiritual will is excellent. Perhaps you can go even further? Reminder, any killing of spiritual beings is prohibited. Violators will be completely expelled from infinite space. Reward points total to 184,193.03. Luofong, upon understanding this piece of information, felt quite encouraged. Opening new paths, achieving the second realm of Godly King, rewards 100,000 points. Including the 100,000 points rewarded when spiritual will surpass the Beyond God King level. That's a total of 200,000 points, by far the largest fortune of my own. Having been in infinite space for so long, Luofong has always been cautious with the use of reward points. Major expenditures were mainly for the Lotus Heart Seed and Destruction Scale. As for exchanging inheritances, it was mainly the inheritances from the first and second realm of Godly King. Those extremely expensive inheritances, I haven't yet had the heart to exchange. I can't kill any spiritual beings, so the only way to get reward points is to open new paths and continue to advance my spiritual will, Luofong thought. Looking at the information description, fully mastering the great Tao of life and death should be rewarded. But Luofong also understood something. Tao such as time, space, life, infinite, destruction and so on, exist within the supreme rules. Yet even so, throughout the long eras of Land of Origin, the only ones who could comprehend the complete Taos on their own were Emperor Qing and the Lord of 10,000 Realms. Great Tao of life and death having no reference. The difficulty of comprehending the complete great Tao of life and death. One can only imagine. Ordinary paths have guidance. Those emperors and monarchs who comprehend 5 or 6 ultimate realm secret techniques might not necessarily comprehend the entire Tao. From this, one can infer that without guidance for the great Tao of life and death, one would probably need to comprehend at least 10 ultimate realm secret techniques to have a hope of unlocking the Tao. What does it mean for spiritual will to go a step further? Luofong was somewhat puzzled. Before mastering the great Tao, reaching divine emperor level in spiritual will is rated as special evaluation. What then could be a step higher? Forget it. Luofong began to check the infinite space treasure vault. Luofong was a bit surprised. The Divine King Ultimate Chapter of Perfection Level Inheritance is still unseen? Perfection Level Inheritance, the God King Second Realm Chapter, generally requires 10,000 reward points. The Ultimate Chapter? Luofeng's current reward points don't even qualify to see it. According to the pricing model of infinite space, the Ultimate Chapter is typically 20 times that of the God King Second Realm. I'm rated as special evaluation for both, and yet I don't qualify to see the Perfection Level Inheritance's Ultimate Chapter. Just what kind of talent is needed to be eligible to learn the ultimate chapter of perfection level inheritance? Luofong lamented in secret. Relying on the formless and intangible, the ultimate realm primordial bloodline creatures within Land of Origin are already my limit of transformation. Luofong thought, and I don't cultivate the origin Tao of matter, so it's unnecessary to exchange for the ultimate chapter of world life formed. These reward points must be spent on the essentials. Luofong carefully checked the information of one inheritance after another. Let's see the treasures. Luofong was very interested in those treasures because, as Emperor Qing said, treasures that start from 100,000 reward points all lend a certain assistance to escaping the braided cage, and are also highly coveted by external cultivators. The number 1 ranked treasure, a sword, requires 180,000 reward points to exchange. This sword is crafted with materials from the corpse of a primordial ancestor. Thunder Tao, Destruction Path and Material Path cultivators are all suitable for exchange, and by comprehending it, one may hope to escape the braided cage. Reminder. Such treasure should be contemplated within the source world, and must not be taken out of the source world, otherwise endless troubles will ensue. The second-ranked treasure, the space-time mirror, requires 180,000 reward points to exchange. This is a mirror refined from the rare treasures of primordial space, by which one can retain memories and reincarnate into any source world without being rejected by any source world's supreme rules. To cultivate under different supreme rules in different source worlds, the cultivation benefits are immense. Reminder. 1. The space-time mirror is suitable for exchange by those cultivating the paths of time or space. For cultivators of other paths, the gains from exchange are lower. 2. This treasure must not be taken out of the source world. One by one the treasures left Luofong staring agape. Even if both the path opening and spiritual will reach special evaluation, exchanging for one of these treasures would almost deplete the reward points. Luofong felt the high threshold for wanting to exchange for such treasures. In the arrangement by Senior Yuan, even the most dazzling peerless talents could only exchange for one of such treasures. The treasure is not wasted, provided the talent is high enough, Luofong mused as he continued to look. Suddenly, the 34th ranked treasure, the Eye of Life and Death, requires 120,000 reward points to exchange. This is an eye of life and death, refined from the whole body of a world-level primordial life and death pupil beast. By utilizing this eye, one can glimpse the vitality of all things, as well as the destruction weakness of all things. It's suitable for exchange by those on the path of life or destruction and can assist in comprehending the mysteries of life and destruction to aid in escaping the braided cage. Reminder: this treasure must not be taken out of the source world. A superb treasure. Luofeng's heart soared with fervor. There are other high-ranking treasures suitable for destruction, suitable for life. The Eye of Life and Death, though, is simultaneously suitable for both life and destruction. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.